Good evening, Virgo. Pure. That is the word that arrived first. Before anything else, before the context or the explanation or uh, any of the framing that usually precedes the substance of a reading. Pure in the specific, unqualified, nothing mixed into it sense of something that has not been contaminated by agenda or strategy or the complicated self interest that tends to find its way into even the most genuine human affection. Something clean, something that wants nothing from you except the privilege of loving you. And Spirit is asking me to deliver that word first. Before the explanation, before the why and the how and the what this means, because the word itself is the reading. Everything else is simply the evidence for it. Take what is yours today. What resonates, let it reach the places that conditional love has left cautious and defended. What does not, release it gently. But for those of you who felt something quiet and slightly breathless move through you when I said pure love, who felt the specific, slightly unfamiliar quality of someone encountering a description of something they have wanted for a long time without always allowing themselves to want it openly. This reading was made for you. Let me speak first about what unconditional love actually is. Because this phrase, like pure love, like open heart, gets used in ways that empty it of its genuine meaning, gets applied to things that are warm and well intentioned, but that carry within them the specific and almost invisible conditions that most human love tends to carry. The I love you when conditions. When you are doing well, when you are the version of yourself I find easiest to be around, when the relationship is producing what I need it to produce, when the circumstances are favorable and the friction is low, and you are not requiring anything from me that my current capacity cannot comfortably provide. Soft sigh. Most love has those conditions. Not because the people offering it are bad, they are not, but because conditions are human. Because loving fully through difficulty and frustration and the specific quality of another person at their least lovable is genuinely hard. And most people, most of the time, love as well as they are capable of loving, which means they love with the limitations of their own history and their own fears and their own unexamined beliefs about what love requires of the person offering it. What is approaching in the energy of this collective today is something different from that. Not because the person carrying it is somehow beyond the human condition. They are not. They are entirely human, with all the complexity and the history and the imperfection that human entails. But because what they have arrived at through whatever journey brought them to the specific place they are in right now is a quality of love for you that has its roots in something that does not move when the surface conditions change. That does not retract when you are difficult or imperfect or asking more than is comfortable to give. That does not perform its presence when things are easy and withdraw it when things are not. It simply persists with the specific, unspectacular, enormously significant quality of something that has decided, not felt decided. There is a difference that matters. Feeling is responsive to circumstances. Decision is not. And what this person has done in the private, unwitnessed space of their own reckoning with what they carry for you is decided to love you regardless, not as a performance of virtue, as the honest expression of someone who has looked at the full picture of who you are, the difficult parts included, the imperfect parts included, the parts that other people have sometimes found inconvenient and found in the full picture something they are not willing to love selectively. All of it. They want all of it. Hear them today, because this voice has been pressing forward since the beginning of this energy and needs to reach you in the form closest to how it actually lives in this person. I want to love you without the conditions. I know how that sounds. I know it sounds like the kind of thing that is easy to say and considerably harder to actually do. And I know that you have perhaps heard versions of this before and found in the practice of it that the version being offered had edges that the words did not suggest. I am not going to tell you to simply trust me. Trust is built, not declared, and I understand that. What I can tell you is what I mean when I say it. I mean that I have seen the parts of you that are not easy, that I have been present for the versions of you that other people have perhaps found too much or not enough or too complicated to stay with. And I have not found those versions of you to be reasons to love you less. I have found them to be the most honest parts of you, the parts that tell me who you actually are rather than who you are when everything is working. And the person I see in those parts, the full, real, nothing curated for my comfort person, is the one I want specifically, not despite the fullness of who you are, but because of it. I want to love you when it is hard. That is the specific thing I am trying to say. Not just when it is easy and warm and the conditions are favorable, when it is hard, when you are struggling and not at your best and asking more of me than feels comfortable, when the relationship requires something from me that I would rather not give, but that I know you need. I want to show up for those moments with the same quality of presence I bring to the beautiful ones, because those are the moments that actually prove what love is not: the easy ones, which require nothing, the hard ones. And I am prepared genuinely, not performatively, to be present for yours. Soft sigh. Oh, let that land without the immediate deflection. Without the "this sounds too good" or the "what is the catch" or the "I have heard something like this before and it did not hold" response. That experience sometimes trains us to produce when someone offers something this complete. Let it land in the place that has been waiting for exactly this, the place that has known what it needs and has not always been given it and has been waiting with varying degrees of patience and hope for the version of love that actually matches the size of the longing. Now I want to speak about the open heart because it is the third element of this reading's energy and it deserves its own honest attention. The open heart is not a permanent state. I want to say that clearly because I think The mythology around open heartedness sometimes presents it as something that certain people simply have a quality that exists independently of experience and effort and the specific history of someone's encounters with love. It is not that. The open heart is a practice, a daily, effortful, sometimes frightening choice to remain permeable to another person when permeability has previously produced pain. This person is making that choice in relation to you, with the specific and costly quality of someone who has their own history of the heart being opened and finding the opening, regretted who knows what vulnerability costs from their own experience, and who has decided, past all that knowing, to remain open anyway. Because the alternative, the closed heart, the managed distance, the love that protects itself at the cost of reaching the other person fully, is a version of loving that they are no longer willing to offer you. You deserve the open version, and they are choosing to give it. Now I want to speak to you about what receiving this requires. Because unconditional love, pure love, open hearted love is not simply received passively. It asks something of the person receiving it, not in the transactional sense, not a matching of quality that creates pressure to love equally or identically, but in the specific and important sense of being willing to be loved, of allowing what is offered to actually reach the places it is intended to reach, of not redirecting it away from the vulnerable interior through the habitual mechanisms of someone who has learned that being loved fully carries its own specific risks. You have those mechanisms. They were built for good reasons, and they have served you in contexts where the love being offered was genuinely conditional, where the openness on your side produced exposure that was not met with care. But those mechanisms, operating in the context of something genuinely unconditional, become the thing that prevents the unconditional from landing. That keeps the pure love at the managed distance where it cannot do what it came to do. Let it do what it came to do. That is the invitation of this reading, the specific and gentle and enormously significant invitation to receive what is being offered at the full size it is being offered in. Not the managed, I will accept this much and see how it holds version. The full version, the one that reaches the parts of you that have been defended because they have not previously been safe to expose, and finds, in this particular context, with this particular person, that the exposure produces not the familiar pain, but something genuinely different. The happiness that this reading promises, the so happy quality that Spirit is pressing forward for you today, lives precisely there, in the specific, surprising, I did not know it could feel like this experience of being loved without conditions and allowing that love to actually reach you. Of the defended places opening not through force, but through the sustained, patient, I am still here quality of someone whose love has decided to stay regardless of how long the opening takes. Soft sigh, you are going to be so happy. And the happiness is going to have a specific quality that I want to name because I think it matters to know what is coming. It is going to feel like safety. not the provisional safety of a situation that could change the structural safety of being loved by someone who has decided, of knowing in the daily experience of your relationship to this person that what they offer does not retract when you are imperfect, that you do not have to earn it repeatedly, that it is simply there, present, waiting for you on the difficult days with the same warmth it brought to the easy ones. That safety, the specific structural, I can rest in this safety of unconditional love, is one of the rarest things available in human experience. Most people live their whole lives without fully inhabiting it, without finding the specific configuration of another person's love and their own willingness to receive it that produces it. And what Spirit is bringing through today with the warmth and the insistence of something that is genuinely extraordinary is that this configuration may be available to you right now, in this person, in what they are ready to bring. Let it be available by being available to it, by opening not all at once, not in the vulnerable flood of someone who has released too much too quickly, but incrementally in the specific and trust building way of someone who is testing the ground as they go and finding step by step that it holds, that the love is what it says it is, that the open heart on the other side is genuinely open, not strategically open, not performatively open, but open in the quiet daily. This is simply how I am with you way that can only be demonstrated through time and through the accumulation of moments where the choice to stay open was made and kept. Uh, Pure love is coming toward you from an open heart with the unconditional quality of something that has decided rather than simply felt. And the happiness it is going to produce the specific structural, I can rest here happiness of being loved without the conditions is already forming in the energy around you, already present in the invisible world, already moving toward the visible one with the patient certainty of something that knows it is real and knows where it is going. Open. In whatever way opening is available to you today, however small the opening, however tentative the first crack in the defended places, let it be a beginning. Because what is on the other side of that beginning is something your whole life has been preparing you to finally, fully, completely receive. Pure love. For you, without conditions, from an open heart. It is real. It is coming. And you are ready for it, more ready than the defended places have been letting you believe. If this reading found you at exactly the moment it was meant to, if something here gave language to what you have been longing for and confirmed that it is genuinely approaching, stay close. Subscribe and come back, because the story of someone finally, completely, without the conditions being loved is one worth witnessing all the way through to its most luminous chapter. And the next reading will be there for every open-hearted step of it.